Now, if you have the style of lid that's going to be located by 4 pads, we'd like to give some guidelines for where those pads need to be. So here's one way to do it. Take 2 of your sides and orient them like so. Now place the top with the inside of the top down, so that I'm looking at the outside of the top, that's the inside of the top. Place them in that orientation. Now flip the whole thing over, and this of course would be easier to do if I weren't trying to explain it at the same time. So it'll be easier for you than for me. Make sure that the 2 pieces of siding are touching each other. So I'm pushing that way and that way, while I'm also pushing on the back side to butt it up against the top. So with those pushed together, make a small mark where the one of the pads will go. Push there, make another small mark. And the idea here is that we've made 2 marks that are exactly 1 wood thickness in from the edge. And those marks will be part of our location for the pads. Let's do the same thing for this side. So first I push this piece into that wood, then this piece goes against the other side, and with it all compressed together, make a small mark, and that will define the other corner for the top. And now just continue your way around, and you should have 2 little marks on each corner for where to glue those little square pads. An alternate way to align them, if you find that prior method a little difficult, is to, or if it's not getting you the accurate results you want, use your finger to feel that these surfaces are flush with each other. I'm down in this orientation, and I'm using my finger here, and I'm feeling when the 2 surfaces are flush. You could also visually inspect it to make sure it looks right, and when it feels like they're as close as you can, then make a small pencil mark there, and that will be your alignment mark, and continue your way around. And the final result will be, you can see a total of 8 marks that all look in the right location, and those are ready to accept the 4 pads to be glued into place. Okay, now we're gonna glue those pads into place, and I'm kind of faking it here with some homemade pads. If you find your glue bottle plugs on you, it's probably because it's dried on the end. So simply close it once to push the dry glue out, and then open it, and we should find that the glue will flow from that point. A little nifty technique: put the glue on one of the parts, transfer it to both parts. That does a nice job of spreading it to both parts, and then you're ready to place those where they need to go. Okay, so I've got those 4 pads glued into place. I've aligned them with my pencil marks on all the 4 corners. Push down on the marks to squeeze the glue out. And now we want to check the fit of those marks with our box. Now, my box, as you can see, is designed to locate by the laser cutouts in the corners. And so these are, you would never do these with this style of box, but I'm trying to show the method in case you have used the 4 locating pads. So what I'd recommend is to test fit, place the lid on the box like so, not quite square, but this is to test the fit of those 2 pads in that direction. You can see I have a little bit of slop. And then similarly, hold the box in that position and push it back and forth here. And I also have a little bit of slop in that direction. So that's telling me that those pads are too far inboard on both the front and rear. So you can take them, and with the glue still wet, you should be able to slide those out slightly. So I'll slide that one out, and slide this one out, and this one. Okay, of course you have to be gentle with those tests because the glue is not very strong. So let's try that again. I'm going to go in And then very gently, I'm just going to wiggle it left and right, and that's a real nice fit. Just maybe a 32nd of an inch of clearance. And then I'll try it on this side. And this side I got a little bit too tight because my box is not closing, so it's in the way. So I'm going to pull this off, and I'm going to look at them to see which one is further out. This one. And now I'm going to push that in slightly. And I'm going to check that fit again. And that's now fitting in place. And then we do the same procedure for the fit this way. So I test fit like that, and I got lucky. That one's fitting right on. And this one is slightly sloppy, so I would fix that one. And I look for the one that's further inboard, and I choose it to go slightly out. And then let's check that again. And that's now got about a 1/16 of clearance, so that's good. And now it should fit both with my laser cut locating marks and the other marks. To let this dry, I would probably keep it in this position, but I don't know that I would rubber band it, because the rubber bands will tend to push it one way or the other and likely to disturb the location of the pads. And the last thing is to take your wet or damp towel and wipe up your workspace to get any glue that might have gotten out of the table. And also take your glue bottle and make sure you close it so that the next user doesn't have to deal with a dried glue on the end.